Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Thomas.
Hello, welcome back to Thomas Story and Daily Life channel. Today's story is about love and sex. In the heart of Evergreen City, where the skyline pierced the heavens like ambitious dreams, lived Lucy Harrington, a 25-year-old graphic designer with a flair for turning emotions into vivid visuals. Her apartment was a chaotic sanctuary of paint-splattered canvases, sketchbooks piled high, and a coffee machine that never cooled. Lucy's life was a whirlwind of deadlines and inspiration, but her heart craved something more, a love that could match the intensity of her art. Little did she know, fate was about to weave a complicated tapestry involving two men who would challenge her soul, Nick Rivera and Thomas Ellis. Nick was the spark that ignited her world. At 28, he was a freelance photographer whose lens captured the raw essence of life. With his messy dark hair, piercing green eyes, and a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, he exuded an effortless charm that drew people in. They met at the annual Evergreen Art Gala, where Lucy's digital illustrations were showcased on massive screens. She stood nervously by her display, adjusting her cocktail dress, when Nick approached with a glass of wine in hand. "Your work, it's like you're painting with light and shadow," he said, his voice smooth as velvet. Lucy blushed, her hazel eyes meeting his. "Thank you. I'd try to capture feelings that words can't express." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, from art techniques to favorite hidden spots in the city. By the end of the night, Nick had her number, and their first date was set, a sunset photo shoot at the old lighthouse on the outskirts of town. Nick's world was one of adventure. He drove her in his beat-up Jeep, wind whipping through their hair as they laughed about childhood mishaps. At the lighthouse, he set up his camera, but soon it was forgotten. They sat on the rocks, waves crashing below, and shared their first kiss. It was electric, Nick's lips claiming hers with a hunger that made her pulse race. That night, back at his loft, their passion unfolded. Nick's hands roamed her body, peeling away her clothes with urgent need. He lifted her onto the bed, his mouth exploring her neck, breasts, and lower, teasing until she begged. When he entered her, it was a storm of sensation, thrusts deep and fast, her moans echoing as they climaxed together, bodies tangled in sweat-soaked sheets. From then on, Nick became her thrill. Weekends were spontaneous, road trips to nearby mountains where they'd make love in a tent under the stars, or urban explorations ending in heated encounters in alleyways. He whispered promises of eternal excitement, making Lucy feel alive, desired, and free. But amidst the passion, there was a hint of instability. Nick's freelance life meant irregular hours, canceled plans, and a temper that flared when things didn't go his way. Enter Thomas Ellis, the calm to Nick's storm. At 30, Thomas was an architect at a prestigious firm designing structures that stood as testaments to enduring beauty. His blonde hair was always neatly combed, his brown eyes warm like aged whiskey, and his build athletic from weekend hikes. They met through a mutual friend, Sarah, at a quaint coffee shop downtown. Lucy was there sketching logos when Sarah introduced them. Thomas was hunched over blueprints, his focus intense. "I couldn't help but notice your drawing. The way you blend colors, it's like architectural in its precision." Lucy laughed, flattered. "And your blueprints look like art to me." Their chat extended into hours, discussing everything from sustainable design to personal aspirations. Thomas was thoughtful, asking about her dreams and sharing his own vulnerabilities, like the pressure of his family's expectations. Their first date was a picnic in the botanical gardens. Thomas had prepared everything: gourmet sandwiches, fresh fruits, and a bottle of her favorite wine. They strolled hand in hand, talking about life beyond the surface. "I want a partner who challenges me to be better," he confessed. The evening ended at his modern apartment, where a simple goodnight kiss turned into more. Thomas was patient, his touches soft and exploratory. He undressed her slowly, kissing every curve, his fingers tracing patterns that built her arousal. When they made love, it was rhythmic and intimate. He entered her gently, their eyes locked, building to a shared release that left her feeling cherished and whole. Thomas offered stability. Dates were planned with care, museum visits where he'd explain the architecture, or cozy nights in with home-cooked meals. He remembered small details, like her allergy to nuts or her love of jazz music. Intimacy with him was profound. In bed, he'd whisper affirmations, his hands guiding her to peaks of pleasure multiple times before his own. Lucy felt secure, like she could build a future with him. For months, Lucy navigated this dual affection unknowingly at first. She saw Nick on weekends for adrenaline rushes, and Thomas midweek for soulful connections. But guilt crept in. She loved Nick's fire, the way he made her body sing with raw desire. With Thomas, it was deeper, a love that nurtured her spirit. The lines blurred during intimate moments. After sex with Nick, she'd think of Thomas's tenderness and vice versa. The big problem exploded like a fault line in their fragile equilibrium. It began at Lucy's company's annual awards ceremony, held in a grand ballroom overlooking the city. Her firm had just completed a major rebranding project, and she was nominated for an award. Unbeknownst to her, both men were invited, Nick as the event photographer, Thomas as a guest speaker on innovative design. The night started magically. Lucy arrived in a sleek emerald gown that accentuated her figure, her hair in loose waves. Nick found her immediately, pulling her aside for a quick kiss. "You look ravishing," he murmured, his hand sliding down her back. They danced, bodies pressed close, his whispers promising a night of passion later. But then Thomas appeared, looking dapper in a tailored suit. "Lucy, you shine brighter than any award," he said, handing her a bouquet he'd brought. As the evening progressed, tension simmered. Nick shot jealous glances while capturing photos, and Thomas noticed Lucy's divided attention. During the awards, Lucy won for her designs, and in her speech, she thanked "the special people in my life who inspire me." Both men beamed, assuming it was for them. The storm hit during the after-party. Nick, emboldened by cocktails, cornered Lucy in a hallway. "Let's sneak away. I need you now," he said, his lips on her neck. She hesitated, but the thrill pulled her in. They found a quiet room where Nick hiked up her dress, his fingers teasing her wetness before thrusting into her against the wall. It was quick, intense, her legs wrapped around him, moans muffled as they came hard and fast. Guilt hit Lucy immediately. Returning to the party, she found Thomas waiting. "Where were you?" he asked, concern in his eyes. Before she could answer, Nick approached, possessive arm around her. "She's with me," he slurred. Thomas's face hardened. "Lucy, what's going on?" The confrontation erupted. In the middle of the ballroom, voices rose. Nick accused Thomas of being a boring intruder. Thomas called Nick reckless. Lucy, tears streaming, confessed everything. "I've been seeing you both. I didn't mean for it to go this far." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Colleagues whispered. Her boss frowned. Nick stormed out, yelling, "You're just playing games." Thomas left quietly. His parting words, "I thought we had trust." The fallout was devastating. Lucy's professional reputation suffered. Rumors of her love triangle drama circulated, affecting client meetings. Personally, it was worse. Nick bombarded her with angry texts, then pleading ones. oscillating between fury and desperation. He even showed up at her apartment one night drunk, begging for another chance. "Remember how I make you feel?" he said, pulling her into a kiss that led to rough sex on the couch. His thrusts punishing, her body responding despite the pain in her heart. But it felt hollow, ending in tears. Thomas, meanwhile, went silent for days, then sent a measured email. "I need time. This hurt more than I can say." Her friends divided. Some sided with the excitement of Nick, others the reliability of Thomas. She plunged into depression, her creativity drying up. Sleepless nights were spent analyzing her choices. Her past haunted her. Her father's infidelity had shattered her family, making her fear commitment, yet crave it. The problem escalated when external pressures mounted. Nick's social media posts, subtle digs about heartbreakers, went viral in their art circle, painting Lucy as the villain. Thomas's concern